Hello, and this is my video number 3 for Chessmates Club on the YouTube channel. And I'm absolutely delighted that so many of you watched my video number 1 and 2. But this is video 3, and this video is all about notation, following notation. And I've picked a game that I really liked, quite an exciting game, quite a short game, so that we can actually do it in this video time. So, what is notation? Well, notation is simply writing chess down. And we write chess down so that we have a record of those games forever. I want to just show you a game that I have written down, copied from a book, and this game took place 110 years ago in 1910. But at that time we have a game that is between Richard Reti, playing as white, and Savielli Tartakower, playing as black. So let me tell you a little bit about those two chess players. Richard Reti was considered to be one of the strongest, best players in the world at that time. Now, I know when I've read up that he actually once did a simultaneous match where he played 29 games of chess all at the same time. Richard Reti was really good at doing that. These 29 games that he played, of which he won 21, he was blindfolded at the time. How did he do that? I don't know, but that gives you an idea of the strength of chess player that he was. And he was playing Savielli Tartakower. Now in 1910, Savielli Tartakower was not a grandmaster, but he became a grandmaster later. So this is two very talented chess players playing a game, and it lasted just 11 moves, and we're going to have a look at how that game was played out. Now, when we read and write chess, it's extremely important that we've set the board up correctly. We have to put our white pieces, notice they're red, but these are the white pieces, we have to put them on ranks 1 and 2, and we have to put our black pieces on ranks 7 and 8. Otherwise, the notation won't work. So I've set my board up correctly. I've made sure I've got the white square in the bottom right hand corner. And if we just look at the board, this board has the notation written alongside it, the grid references. Not every chessboard will. So if you're following this game at home, you might need to write the numbers and the letters onto your chessboard. Remember, put the white square in the bottom right hand corner. And the reason we have the letters and the numbers is because every single one of those 64 squares then gets a name. For example, E5, that square is known as E5. This one, it's on F3, that square is known as F3. So if we have a map reference for our chessboards, we are able to follow a game. So let's look at this game and how I've written it down. Now I've copied the notation onto a big piece of paper. I put it into columns. So my first column is white's move and my second column is black's move. When chess notation is written like that, it's always that way round. It will be white on the left and black on the right. And they will often be separated with a little comma. And here I've written the move numbers down the side, and you can see that there were 11 moves, and I can tell you that this game ended in checkmate. I know that because I've put a hashtag on move 11, or a double plus you can use. I've actually put a question mark because that's what this video is about. I want you to tell me what that move was. Let's see how we're going to get to that. So let's look carefully at the notation, and it tells us that the first move is E4. Now, every single chess piece has a letter apart from one. The pawn has no letter. Maybe it's not important enough, I don't know. But the king has the K, the queen has the Q, the bishop has a B, the knight has an N, and that's because the king keeps the K, he's more important. The knight gets the N, and the rook has an R. And the pieces are always given a capital letter. And the little references around the board are always given a small letter. So that way we're going to be able to see how this game plays out. So if we look at move number 1, e4 for white. So we're going to find the square e4. So we look at E and we come down to number 4. That's E4. We know it's white's turn. And there is no capital letter, so it must be a pawn that moves there. And there is only one pawn that can move to E4. That's the first move. And black's reply was C6. So we do the same. We find the C file and we come down to rank 6. That's C6. There's no capital letter. So we know that a pawn moves to C6 and therefore it must be that pawn. That's the only pawn that can get to C6. So we've done the first move. If we're following this, we're now here on this notated game. So the second move, D4 for white. Let's do the same. We've got D and we come down to number 4. For white, there was no capital letter. We know it's a pawn move. And here we go, the only pawn that can go to D4, and we've put that one into position. So here we can see Richard Retty, as white, he's popped 2 pawns into the centre of the board. He's threatening these squares in the centre. Let's see what black did. Black does D5, so we're going to find D5. And we know it's a pawn because there's no capital letter. Only one pawn can get to D5. And black's reply has been to form a chain of pawns on his side of the board. So we've finished move 2. Now we're on move 3. So this time we've got slightly different notation there. We have a capital N, C3. It's white's turn. We find C, we find 3, and we're looking for a knight that could get to that square. So can you see the knight that can get to that square? There's only one knight that can get to that square. That was white's move. So if you've noticed what we've been doing so far, when it names the square reference, it's the square we're landing on. It's where we're going to. It's not where we're coming from, it's where we're going to. Let's see what happened on black's reply on move 3. Here we've got another new piece of notation. It says D, X, E4. It's black's turn. So we know that whatever it is, it's going to go to E4. So let's find E4. So there's E4. It's black's turn. There's a piece already on E4 and it's a white piece. But we can see there that we're being told that there's a pawn on the D file and it's going to capture. The X means capture. So there's a pawn on the D file and it's going to capture on E4. So the D file here, there's the pawn. We can see that that pawn can capture, so that's the move. D takes E4. We have a first capture in this game. So move number 4, we have another capture happening. Move number 4 for white says capital N, X, E4. So we know that there's another capture happening on E4. And we know that it's an N, a capital N, and we know it's white's move. So can you see a knight that can capture on E4? We're going to take E4 away. We're capturing with the knight, and now we have an even number of captures in this game. Let's look at what black's reply was on that move number 4, and it says capital N, F6. So we're not doing any captures this time. We're going to look for where F6 is, and we're going to see if there's a black knight that can get to it. So knight F6 for black, and we're now 4 moves for both sides into this game. So move number 5 for white, capital Q, D3. We're going to look for D, we're going to look for 3, and where capital Q stands for queen. So at this point, Richard Retty for white brings out his queen to D3. And black replies with E5. We're going to find E, we're going to find 5. And remember now there's no capital letter. This has got to be a pawn move. So only one pawn can get there. We have E5. We're now 5 moves into the game, just about halfway through. Move number 6, dx e5. So let's look at e5. D is going to take it. Which pawn is on D for white? We can see that that's the pawn on D. It's going to capture e5. So in another capture, the pawn comes off the board. And black's reply, so Savioli Tartakawa now does a checking move. We know that because of this little plus sign. Plus means check. So he brings out his queen to a5 and it should be check. Should we see if it is? So we find the queen and then we find where a5 is. The queen can get there, so the queen's coming down to a5. Is it check? Let's have a look. There's a diagonal right the way through to the white king. So that is check. We're now finished move 6. We're going to move on to move 7. How does white get out of check? Well, in this example, b d2. The bishop is going to move to d2. So we have d2 with the bishop diagonally moving there, and it's blocking the check. Actually doing a double job, isn't it? That bishop's doing a double job. He's blocking the check, but he's also threatening the queen. So, unsurprisingly, black moves the queen. Let's see where the queen goes. The queen is qx e5. Here's e5. The queen's going to come across and capture on this square. So move number 8, 0 hyphen 0 hyphen 0. We can castle on the queen's side. When we castle, the king only moves 2 squares. Doesn't matter if it was king's side or queen's side, it will be 2 squares that he moves, which does mean that when you castle queen's side, the rook has a bigger jump than when you castle on the king's side. So that's the correct castling on the queen's side for white in this game. And black's reply was capital N x e4. So the capital N for knight captures on e4. We have a look at e4 and we've got a white knight on there. This is black's move. So a capital N is a knight. It's going to capture that knight. So this knight's going to capture that knight. And I'm just going to stop the game there. So we've reached the end of move number 8. And there are still moves number 9 and moves number 10 to go before the checkmate happens for white on move number 11. Now I've stopped it there because I actually want you to follow these games at home. I want you to set up your board in starting positions. At the end of this video, I'm going to leave it on the screen of my notation so that you can pause it and you've got it there to follow. I want you to do exactly what I've just done. We're going to follow the game right down to the end of move 8. And then I want you to do move 9 and you to do move 10. And then when you get to the end of move 10, you've effectively got a checkmate in 1 puzzle on the board because we know that it's checkmate on the next move for white. And I want to know, what does that question mark actually mean? What was the checkmating move? That's your task for video 3. It's quite exciting. The reason I really like this game is it is short enough to be able to show you on a video, but in moves 9 and 10, there's some really good chess. We see a queen sacrifice, we see a revealed check, which is actually double check, and we see the rook and the bishop working together to deliver a checkmate. Can you email me? Could you WhatsApp me? Could you text me? Get your parents to text me? Tell me what that final move was. So that is the task for today. Deluge me with your answers so that I've got lots of work to do, popping funny little creatures into your prize pots here so that at the start of term you get them. I'd be really excited if you bankrupt my stock because I get so many. So have a go, rewind 110 years, rewind to that coffee shop in Vienna where this game took place. Give it a go, follow the notation, send me the checkmate move.